Am I the asshole for refusing to share my bonus with my fiance's family? So here's the thing. I'm 30 years old, working in tech, and I just wrapped up a hell of a year at my job. I mean, it was good, really good. Good enough that I landed a $50 zero year-end bonus. Yeah, 50 grand before taxes. Of course, because Uncle Sam always gets his cut. Still, I was stoked. I've been busting my ass and saving for years to get a house. And this bonus, this was going straight into that fund. Every last dollar. My fiance, Sarah, she's 28, knew all about my house plans. When I first told her about the bonus, she was all smiles, super supportive, or so I thought. We'd been together for 3 years, engaged for 6 months. Things were good, or at least they felt good. We talked about our future, the house, all that normal stuff. I figured we were on the same page. I guess I was wrong about that. Dead wrong. The bomb dropped a few days after I got the bonus notification. We were just hanging out, watching some dumb show, and she brought it up, real casual, like it was nothing. Hey, honey, about your bonus. I had a feeling in my gut right then, a little twist in my stomach. I just nodded. Yeah. And then she hit me with it. She asked if I could spare $25, 00 of my bonus to help her parents pay off their mortgage. Spare 25 of, hilly, like I had money just sitting around gathering dust. 25 grand. That's half of what I just got, before taxes. Which means she was essentially asking for almost every damn dollar I'd see after the government took its share. I swear, for a second, I thought she was joking. My jaw must have dropped because she just stared at me. No hint of a laugh. She was serious, deadly serious. Her parents, apparently, had been struggling financially, and since we were getting married, and they were going to be my family too, she felt it was only fair that I chip in. That was the rationale. My family too. I just sat there, listening to the words hang in the air, trying to process what I was hearing. It wasn't just the amount, it was the sheer audacity of it. The entitlement. I'd never even met her parents more than a handful of times, mostly quick hellos at family gatherings. We hadn't talked about their financial situation, ever. They hadn't asked me directly, not once. Sarah was just making this demand. For them, my first instinct was just to laugh, to tell her she was out of her mind. But the look on her face told me that wouldn't go over well. So I just said, no, plain and simple, no, I'm not doing that. I told her I'd worked my ass off for that money. It was for our future, for a down payment on a house, something we'd both talked about and planned for. I told her I felt for her parents, genuinely, but it wasn't my responsibility to bail them out, especially not when they hadn't even bothered to ask me themselves. It was my money, not some endless well. Her response, she called me selfish, accused me of not caring about her family, like I was some kind of monster for not handing over half my hard-earned bonus to people I barely knew. It was a hell of a jump, from not caring about her family to not caring about her, and that's where the red flags started waving, big and bright. I'd seen this kind of behavior before, not from her, but from others. The way she twisted my refusal into some moral failing on my part. She kept pressing, talking about how her parents had sacrificed so much for her, and how this was the least I could do. I just looked at her. Your parents sacrificed for you. Sarah, not for me. I appreciate what they did for you, but that doesn't obligate me to give them $25. Cyril, I tried to keep my voice even, but inside, I was fuming. Where was her money in all this? Why wasn't she dipping into her savings? Or working more to help them? Oh, right. She was helping them by trying to bleed me dry. After that conversation, things went cold, real cold. Sarah barely spoke to me, gave me the silent treatment. The whole damn works. I tried to talk to her, to explain my side again, but she just shut me down. Said I clearly didn't understand what family meant. And then, without my permission, without even a heads up, she went and told her parents about my bonus and my refusal. Suddenly, I started getting guilt-tripped. Not directly, not at first. Her parents would make comments. Oh, you're so lucky to have that extra cash. Some people don't get opportunities like that. Subtle jabs, but I knew what they were doing. They weren't outright asking. No, but they were laying it on thick, trying to make me feel like a complete asshole for holding on to my own money. My money that I'd busted my ass for. Working long hours in a job that demands a lot. It wasn't luck, it was hard damn work. But in their eyes, I was just lucky, and they were struggling, so I should just hand it over. The entitlement wasn't just Sarah, it was the whole damn family. I tried to explain to Sarah, again, that I planned to use the money to secure our future, to buy us a house. And that's when she really laid into me. What future? You're already showing. You don't care about the people who matter to me. That cut deep, not because I thought it was true, but because she actually believed it, or at least, she was acting like she did. She was weaponizing my loyalty, turning my financial prudence into a betrayal. Then the kicker, even some of my own friends started getting into my ear. Are you being reasonable, man, or are you being stingy? Like I was the bad guy for not giving away a significant portion of my income to my almost in laws. I couldn't believe it. I'd always been a generous guy, always helped my friends out when they needed it. But this was different. This wasn't a friend needing a few $100 for rent. This was a demand for $25, zero and for people I barely knew. Without even the courtesy of them asking me directly, it felt like I was surrounded by assholes. Sarah, her parents, even some of my friends. Was I really the asshole for protecting my future, for holding on to money I earned? No, absolutely not. This whole situation was like a wake up call, a splash of cold water to the face. I'd been so caught up in the idea of us, of the future we were building, that I'd been blind to what was right in front of me. Sarah wasn't just asking for money, she was showing me exactly who she was. She was showing me that my money was her money, and by extension, her family's money. She wasn't just marrying me, she was marrying my bank account. I started seeing all the other small things I'd dismissed before. How she always seemed to know exactly how much I made. How she kept track of my paychecks, my bonuses. I always just thought she was interested in my career, in our shared future. Now, it felt less like interest and more like an inventory check. I never told her the exact balance of my 401k or my brokerage account. Thank God. Some things, I always felt, were private, and now I knew why. I talked to a couple of my buddies, guys who'd been through divorces, tough breakups. They all said the same thing, loud and clear: run. Man, just run. One of them, Dave, he'd lost a shit ton in his divorce because he didn't see the signs. He told me, this ain't just about the money. Bro, this is about control, about what she thinks she's entitled to. If she's doing this now, imagine what she'll do when you're actually married. Another friend, Mark, pointed out the obvious. The tax situation, dude, you're not even seeing the full 50 grand. After federal, state, maybe city taxes, depending on where you live, you're probably looking at 30, maybe 35,000 max. She's asking for most of your take home. That's not sparing money. That's them trying to take damn near everything. He was right. I hadn't even factored in the taxes in my immediate outrage. She was essentially asking for damn near 100% of my net bonus. The thought of ending things felt like a punch to the gut. 3 years, 6 months engaged, all the plans, but the more I thought about it, the clearer it became. This wasn't just a disagreement, it was a fundamental clash of values. It was about respect, or the lack thereof. She didn't respect my hard work, my financial boundaries, or my right to decide what to do with my own money. She thought she could just dictate it, and her family was right there with her, enabling it, trying to manipulate me. I realized I'd made a mistake, a big one. I'd ignored some subtle red flags early on because I was caught up in the moment, in the idea of what we could be. I'd let physical attraction and the desire for a stable relationship cloud my judgment. I wanted to believe she was the one, that we were building something real. But real partnerships don't start with one person making outrageous demands and then guilt-tripping the other into submission. I kept thinking about what Sarah said. What future? She'd already decided there wasn't one unless I bowed to her demands. That was a hell of a thing to hear from the person you're supposed to spend your life with. It told me everything I needed to know. My future, my security, my financial independence. None of that mattered to her when it came to her parents' mortgage. It wasn't about us, it was about them, and I was just the guy with the bonus. The relationship had been under stress for a bit. Little things I'd brushed off, little arguments that snowballed. I'd felt a constant knot in my stomach for weeks. My sleep was messed up, and even my work performance had taken a hit. I was distracted, constantly thinking about how to navigate the minefield that our apartment had become. This whole bonus thing just amplified all of it, brought it to a head in a way I couldn't ignore anymore. It became clear that this wasn't just a bump in the road, it was a roadblock, a damn wall that wasn't coming down. The decision was clear, cold, and hard, but it had to be made. I couldn't marry someone who saw me as a walking ATM, someone who would try to extort me for her parents' benefit, and then gaslight me when I refused. I couldn't commit to a life where my financial decisions were constantly under scrutiny, and I was expected to subsidize people who felt entitled to my money. I decided to end the engagement. It wasn't easy. It hurt like hell. All the plans, all the memories, just gone. But the alternative was worse. The alternative was a lifetime of this. A lifetime of being bled dry, of fighting over money, of feeling disrespected and used. I didn't want to be that guy. The one who looks back in 5 years and regrets not getting out when he had the chance. The one who brought this on himself because he ignored a giant, flashing sign. The conversation wasn't pretty. She went from cold to furious, screaming about how I was abandoning her, how I was selfish, how I never cared. She even tried to cry, but it felt forced, a performance. She accused me of being a toxic man for not supporting her family. The therapy speak she'd picked up from TikTok was in full swing. You're making me feel unsafe right now. She even said, when I was just calmly explaining why I was breaking off the engagement, it was insane, but I saw it for what it was, a last-ditch effort to manipulate me. It didn't work. I just stood my ground. This isn't about safety, Sarah. This is about respect, and you don't have any for me, or my money. I kept it direct. No yelling, no theatrics, just the facts. I told her I was done, that I couldn't marry her, that it was over. The practical logistics were a nightmare. We'd been living together for over a year. I told her she needed to find a new place to live, and I gave her a month to sort things out. She threatened to just stay, but I made it clear that wasn't an option. I changed the locks a month later, after she finally cleared her stuff out, still muttering about how I was a horrible person. Her parents even called me, trying to lay on more guilt. I just told them it wasn't their business and hung up. Losing the money on the ring stung. Sure, but it was a small price to pay for my freedom, for my peace of mind. It was an investment in my future, in not making the same mistake twice. I'm not gonna lie. For a while, I felt like a failure. But then I remembered what my buddies said. This wasn't a failure, it was a dodge, a narrow escape. Now, a few months later, I'm back on track. My house fund is growing, stronger than ever. The stress is gone. That constant knot in my stomach has disappeared. I'm sleeping better, focusing at work, and just generally feeling like myself again. I'm taking things slow on the dating front, being more careful, watching for those red flags I missed before. This whole thing was a harsh lesson, but a necessary one. It taught me to trust my gut, to protect my assets, and to never, ever let anyone make me feel guilty for holding on to what I've earned, especially when they feel entitled to it for no good reason. And it taught me that sometimes the best decision you can make is to cut your losses and walk away, no matter how much it hurts in the short term, because sometimes walking away is the only way to save yourself.